Hey, I'm going to tell you the story about the time that I flew around the world. I just kept going west until I got home. It was a great trip. Let's learn about it. As the pandemic rages on and on, we've been staying at home over the last year. And during this time, I've been looking through some of the old photos and videos that I have from before my YouTube days. And I thought that this would be a good time to tell you about the time that I flew around the world in 2 weeks. So my story begins here in Seattle, where I was working as a sales trainer for a global company that's based here. The team that I was on was global based, and all of my teammates were located around the world. So I was in Seattle, there was someone in Tokyo, there was someone in South America, there was someone in Africa, and there was someone in England. So for us to meet, we all had to travel somewhere, and this is the story about how we all had to travel and go around the world. So this is the routing for my around the world flight. So the plane started in Seattle at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. From Seattle, the plane crossed the Pacific Ocean and flew to Narita Airport outside of Tokyo, Japan. So we changed planes in Tokyo and then continued on to Hong Kong. So once in Hong Kong, we spent a week where we went through a company conference. But from Hong Kong, I had to continue on my trip, and I flew from Hong Kong directly to Johannesburg, South Africa. From Johannesburg, I spent a week there, and then when I was ready to go home, I had to fly from Johannesburg to Dakar, Senegal, where they refueled the plane, they cleaned the plane, we didn't get off the plane, but once the plane was ready to go, our plane continued on to Atlanta, Georgia. So once we got to Atlanta, we went through customs, got our bags, and then got on a different plane for the ride home to the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. So it took 2 weeks, and that's how I flew around the world. My company bought us seats in coach, but as luck would have it, I was able to upgrade all of my flights to business class. So I just used miles and got business class seats for the around the world flight. Hey, while we're talking about our around the world trip, I just want to remind you to click like and subscribe and click the little bell to be notified of future videos so that you'll be notified when I have another video come out. So go ahead and click that little button right now. This is a picture of a coworker of mine that did not want their picture taken. So for this video, I'm not going to share pictures of my coworkers because I don't know how to get a hold of some of them to get approval for YouTube. So instead, you're just going to see pictures of me in Hong Kong and in South Africa. So let's begin our video by looking at Hong Kong Harbor and what a beautiful place this is in the world. So here's Hong Kong Harbor. Hong Kong is officially the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China. That's a mouthful to say. Anyway, Hong Kong has 7.5 million people living there. It's a very crowded and compact city in a small piece of land. So my company flew about 150 people from around the world to Hong Kong for our meeting. During the daytime, we'd spend the day going over the company values and learning what was coming up in the next fiscal year. During time off and in the evenings, we'd explore the city and take lots of pictures and videos. Of course, a lot of my videos include my coworkers, which I can't share here, but you can see some of the photos that don't include them. So let's just take a second and look at some of the views of Hong Kong. As you can see here, Hong Kong's a very busy and crowded city. It's an exciting place to go. That Chanel store, that was across the street from our hotel, and I just thought that was kind of funny. Kuala Lumpur, where we stayed, was a very nice area. One of our favorite things to do was go to Victoria Peak. From Victoria Peak, we had a great view of the city, and we could see the harbor. So it's a great place to go and very beautiful. So if you have time in Hong Kong, I definitely recommend going there. The video that we're looking at now is a view of Hong Kong from the hotel bar. As you can see here, we're having a company happy hour. So everyone in this bar belonged to our group. We were kind of loud, but we had fun. Every night it seemed like we were going to a different market. So we went to the night market, we went to the ladies market, and we had a great time. As you can see in this video, there were lots and lots of people at these markets. They're very popular.
If I could take you back to my youth and show you what I wish I knew. My will is strong.
After a week in Hong Kong, it was time to leave. So that meant we had to go to the airport and fly to Johannesburg, South Africa. That was almost a 14-hour flight from Hong Kong to Johannesburg.
When I return from my skin and bones, I'm remembering the words you
I went to South Africa with two coworkers. One was from Turkey and one was from Canada. On our flight, I managed to go business class because I used my miles, but my poor coworkers had to fly in coach. I kind of felt bad for them. That's a long way to ride in coach.
I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone. Wait, hold on.
When we got to our hotel, we were very happy to see that the hotel had the Seattle Coffee Company. It was kind of a knockoff of Starbucks, but it was great. And we were also happy to discover that we weren't far from the Nelson Mandela shopping area. So that was kind of fun to see as well. And here I am doing some training for people. My coworker from Turkey knew a person from Turkey that was working at the company's headquarters in South Africa. And that person was our host. So they took us on a tour of an animal park one day and we saw lots of animals. So we saw ostriches, we saw lions, we saw elephants, we saw rhinoceroses. You name it, we saw it at this place. They also told us a story that usually once a year, in the paper, there's always a story about some tourist that got out of the car to take a picture of an animal up close and then got eaten by him. So we stayed in the car. So this is a stock photo of a lion, but I just wanted to share this because this is such a beautiful scene. The lions that we did see were all in cages, or a caged area, I should say, so the tourists couldn't go in there and interact with them. But when we were there, they did feed them, and that was quite the sight to see. The videos that I have of the animals just don't do them justice, so I went ahead and used some stock footage to show you how beautiful these animals really are. So let's just enjoy the sights of the animals.
What I need to get by doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow, somewhere in the great unknown. When I return from the afterglow, will you carry me like I am?
After seeing the animals, our host from Turkey took us to the Wonder Cave. So the Wonder Cave, it looks just like a small little hole in the ground, but you go down these stairs and there's this huge cave under there. So we went and explored the Wonder Cave with a group of tourists, and that was pretty fun. So we saw stalagmites, stalactites, and everything. And this stalagmite actually looks like the Virgin Mary, so that's kind of cool. And here I am under Africa.
I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone.
The hotel that we stayed at was part of a complex. So you had a hotel, you had some office buildings, and you had a casino. So one night I decided to go to the casino with my friend from Canada, and we were gambling. And I won 3,200 South African Rand on the casino. So I thought that was pretty impressive. I think I still have some of those rands here.
If I could take you back to my youth and show you what I wish I knew.
After being in Johannesburg a week, it was time to fly home. So the plane went from Johannesburg to Dakar, Senegal, where they cleaned the plane and refueled, and then from Dakar we continued on to Atlanta. So the total flight time from Johannesburg to Atlanta was 21 hours of being in the same seat on the same plane. So they talk about seeking discomfort, and sitting on the same plane for 21 hours, that is a little discomfort, but we made it. So once in Atlanta, we went through customs.
We'll be together, take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all.
I remember in Atlanta that I was very tired after that 21-hour flight. But I went through customs, got my bags, and got on the next plane to Seattle. So that was another 4.5, 5 hours to get to Seattle. So we went around the world from Seattle to Seattle, just flying west. I think that it took about 3 weeks for me to recover from all the time changes that we went through. And that's the true story of my around the world trip. So as you know, I just kept flying west and eventually I got home. Be sure to hit like and subscribe and click the little bell to be notified of future videos. And that is officially the end of our video.